Collins. This episode of Barnstorming with Jason Ringenberg is dedicated to the memory of Al Collins, the Jason and the Scorchers bass player who passed away 2 weeks ago of a heart attack. It was a huge shock to all of us because Al seemed to be in really excellent health. He ate properly, he exercised, took care of himself, didn't indulge in all the stuff a lot of musicians do. But he had a heart attack and passed away. Our hearts go out, especially right now, not to ourselves, but to Stacy Collins, his wife and life partner and music partner. All our thoughts and prayers go out to Stacy, and we need to give all the support we can to her. Now, Al Collins joined us in around 2007. He was the fifth Jason and the Scorchers bass player. To go through it, we had Jack Emerson played in that very first Jason and the Nashville Scorchers little band I had that opened for Carl Perkins and R.E.M. and started the whole thing. And then, of course, Jeff Johnson, in all the vintage years to the 80s and 90s. Ken Fox did the Thunder and Fire record, and Kenny Ames did the Midnight Roads and Stages Scene phase of the band. Al Collins brought a real new energy to the Jason and the Scorchers at a time we really needed it. The band was really in a down point in those sort of early years of the 2000s. And it wasn't clear whether it was even going to go on. But Al came in and he had a real gung-ho attitude. He wanted to see Jason and the Scorchers do more, record more, play more, make a bigger impact. And Al, of course, was really busy himself because he was the band leader and the manager of the Stacy Collins band. But he somehow found time to make Jason and the Scorchers a priority. Al is a really good musician. He sort of threaded that line. He sort of walked that line between what Jeff did, that sort of really raw punk rock, high energy eighth note attack, and the more melodic approach that Ken Fox had. He sort of fused those two and made a new ground for him to exist in Jason and the Scorchers. He really appreciated what the other bass players had done, but he wanted to make his own mark as well. And he did it very effectively. Now, the big accomplishment we did with Al Collins on bass was the Halcyon Times record. Along with our drummer Pontus Snib, we joined around the same time. We went back in and did something that's really difficult for any band that had lost two original members. We had lost Jeff and Perry. And wow, those are two major talents to replace. Almost no band can survive something like that. So we had an uphill battle to record again and try to make another statement for the band. But Al and Pontus stepped in and just gave us a whole new energy and a whole new outlook. And we made that great record, Halcyon Times, and then did some serious touring after it to promote the record. And then did an anniversary tour to celebrate the 30-year anniversary of the band as well. And then did the dance program at the Kennedy Center with the Bowen McCauley Dance Company. So for about 5 years, we were really active. And that's, as I said, due in large part to what Al and Pontus brought to the band. Now, with Halcyon Times, Al, he knew that we were making a rock and roll record, but he also wanted to bring a little Americana and a little sort of melody into the bass lines as well. And you can hear it all over that record. His bass work on that record is simply astonishing. It's really, really good. My goodness. And I want to do a Halcyon Times song now. He co-wrote Land of the Free with us, but I'm not sure I can play that on acoustic guitar. It's a pretty difficult song to play acoustically. So then the next obvious choice today would be to play Days of Wine and Roses. But the song it's just so sad. I don't think I can do it. Al was, besides being a great musician, he was also a really cool guy. Let me tell you something about us musicians, folks. In spite of what you think, or in spite of what you may hear from our music, there's a lot of edges going on in us, in our personalities. Almost all of us. A lot of edges, a lot of angles, a lot of issues. A lot of complexities. Aldo was a totally laid-back guy without being lackadaisical. He cared. Al cared about what was going on around him. He cared about the music he was making. He cared about what was happening on that stage. And he was such a help to our band. He was right there loading out at the end of every night, and we used his van going to shows and stuff. And he was a big help to Warner, sort of making the live thing happen. Warner and him kind of produced the live touring along with our manager Deb. But Al played a big role in that. He was always there, just making sure our equipment got to where it needed to be, and helping get where we needed to go, and just doing stuff that freed me up to do other things, around and to help promote and to create with Jason and the Scorchers. But Al was, as I said, I never really knew Al to have an enemy. I never really knew him to say negative things about anyone. He was just a thoughtful, nuanced, decent human being, and a real pleasure just to be around and to play with. So the song I think I'm going to do today, to get to it, is the most positive song, the most uplifting song on Halcyon Times, and quite possibly, if I really think about it, probably the most positive song Jason and the Scorchers ever recorded and played. Song I wrote with Tommy Womack and Ginger Wildheart for Halcyon Times, and the bass part on this song is so good. It's like a little Americana, a little hard rock, a little country, a little power pop, Tom Peterson kind of Cheap Trick kind of thing. It's a really cool bass line. So give this a listen to it after I play this if you have time. So it's really worth doing. Kind of turn up the bass and listen to this. Here we go. This is called Golden Days, featuring Al Collins on bass guitar. Somewhere a long time ago, I took a walk to the record store. It was $5, no price to pay to hear Jerry Lee 20 times a day. I was 19 and the world was mine. The phone rang and I didn't mind going around and round and round, Halcyon Times, round and round and round, Halcyon Times. Cut a hair and I'm 21. I can buy a drink, I can buy a gun, I can drive my car past the county line, I can meet a girl, I can make her mine, I can get a job, bring the money home. The whole world is a pleasure zone, going round and round and round, Halcyon Times, round and round and round, Halcyon Times. These are golden days, blue skies light my way. God bless, God save golden days. God bless, God save golden days. Yeah. Cut a hair and 25, she was so right and so alive. Said her vows and a baby boy now. One heart barely held the joy. It was summertime by the riverside. A hot grill and a double wide, going round and round and round, Halcyon Times, round and round and round, Halcyon Times. These are golden days, blue skies light my way. God bless, God save golden days. God bless, God save golden days. Looking back now, it seems to be that this whole life's been good to me. There's been hard times, but I can't complain. I would go back and do it all again. God rest the soul of Al Collins, and God bless all he gave to our musical world.